What's going on, everyone? Mr. Octagonal here. Now today we have the official start of season number 6 here in the Westlake Hornets Teambuilder Dynasty. Of course, the last off-season recap, all the footage, I accidentally deleted it, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. So this episode we will be recapping the off-season stream, which happened on Sunday, and then we'll be doing all the preseason stuff. And then at the end I will showcase all the custom recruits that you guys have been sending in throughout the past couple of days. So without further ado, let's recap Sunday's stream. Here's a look at everything important that happened during the stream on Sunday, starting with the Florida Gators beating Army in the national championship by a score of 41-14. As we take a look at the players leaving, Champ Britton declaring for the NFL draft as a potential 7th rounder. We would end up convincing him to stay. However, Ash Jakar, he would be the first player in school history drafted as he goes in the 3rd round. Kevin McKinney also going in the 7th round, and a number of other really talented players are also graduating. So here's a look at the current recruiting class. Westlake, up to this point, has the #1 recruiting class in the country. Lots of good players here. Donald Shaw, Neil Scott, Josh Wilson, Brennan Bowman, Adam Alexander, Joey Latimer, Bruce Williams, Alberto Prompel, Jacob Brown. There's more coming. Cole Spencer, Brandon Gilliam, Thomas Foster, Peyton Curtis, the potential future quarterback, Jimmy Gray, Nigel Wiggins, Mike Carter, Patrick Young, Jay Nash, Bobby Fagan, and Joshua Jones. So that is it for the recruits up to this point. There are still some more who will be added, as you can see, with the off-season. So Corey Boone, he did not commit. He got 3,000 points. However, everyone else, Mike Hadley, Jamar Justice, and Steve Harvey, did end up committing to the squad. So here's a look at training. If you don't want to see training, you can skip to around 30 seconds ahead where we get to the good stuff like custom schedules. So we're going to save recruiting towards the end, just to spice it up, I guess. So first we're going to be starting with the depth chart, starting at the quarterback position. Of course, Champ Britton returning for his final season. His backup will be Mike Hadley, one of the 2 true freshmen who we will not be redshirting. And then the 3rd stringer, it will be Wesley McNamara. I know he played quarterback in high school. He is a good arm, not Ellis. Running back, however, will be Alex Ellis, for reigning Heisman Trophy winner, with Sebastian Jackson as his backup. Fullback will be Randy Larkin. Hasn't really gotten too much playing time the past couple of years because we don't really use our fullback. Receivers, Everett Lemieux, Aoe Luco, Michael Wilson, Brian Barnes, Kyle Rivero. Tight end will be Sandy Fishing. Left tackle, Ryan Reginald. Left guard, Chris Beckett. Center, Patrick Dennis. Right guard, William Underwood. And right tackle, the other freshman not getting redshirted, Donald Shaw. So the only positions that are changing are right tackle, center, and sort of wide receiver, as Brian Barnes is replacing Dustin Schwend. On the defense, left end, Isaac Solomon. Right end, Brock Rivero. Defensive tackle, KJ Casimir and Carl Bolden. Left outside linebacker, Alex Coker. Middle linebacker, Chip Barron. Right outside linebacker, Ogobo Anecho Jr., and then in the secondary, Quentin Campbell, Wesley McNamara, Jeremy Harrington, Leon Moore, Sean Briggs. The only changes there are that Carl Bolden is starting at defensive tackle number 2 instead of Chad Langford, and Sean Briggs here at strong safety with that 99 speed, replacing the great Ash Jakar. Kicker will be Matt Fellows once again. Punter will be Alberto Prompel, replacing Kevin McKinney. Kick returner will be Sean Briggs and Sebastian Jackson. Punt returner will be Sean Briggs. Kickoffs will be done by Matt Fellows, and the long snapper will be William Underwood. So for red shirts, I'll be redshirting every freshman except for Hadley and Shaw. I'll probably redshirt Mike Hadley next year, so obviously Peyton Curtis, Adam Alexander, Josh Wilson, Jamar Justice, Nigel Wiggins, and then here comes the rest of the crew. Yeah, there'll be a lot of freshmen towards the bottom, since most of our worst players are 2 and 3 stars. Scheduling non-conference games is always an event when it comes to me streaming the off-season, because everyone wants different things. So this is what has been agreed with. So week 1 will be a bye week. Week 2, taking on Ohio State at AT&T Stadium. We've never had a neutral game, so there we go. Week 3, already getting Pac-12 playing underway against Stanford. So as you can see, our first 2 games are against top 5 teams. Number 5, Ohio State. Number 3, Stanford. Then number 4, at our rival Utah State. Week 5 at Cal versus Oregon versus Tennessee. This is an interesting game because former Westlake defense coordinator Seisty Youngblood now has a job as the head coach at Tennessee. At Utah versus USC. At Arizona. At UCLA versus Arizona State. And at BYU. Or versus BYU. I can read. So now on to recruiting. I've been working pretty hard on the custom recruits for the past couple hours and the past couple of days. That's not all I spent my days doing, but yeah, so here we go. So skip to recruiting. Let's do this. So since we are now a 5-star prestige school in the Pac-12, I expect some top prospects to show a lot of initial interest on our team. And looking at the top 10, we already have the number 2 player showing interest. Dante Savage. Recognize that name from some of the recruiting specials. So Savage is showing initial interest. He also likes the other Utah schools. BYU and Utah are his top 2 favorites. There's Vic Diaz, a custom recruit, 72. That's interesting. Obviously, we have a lot of athletes up here. Doesn't look like any other 5-stars. Or actually, yeah, there is a tight end, Ryan Rogers, first on the Hornets board. So 2 5-stars showing some initial interest. 4-star running back, Ray Johnson. Haven't I seen that name for a defensive end before? No, that's Sam Johnson. Remember, back in year 1, there was a 3-star who wanted to come. Sam Johnson with that exact same face. And he looks pretty good, so I was excited, but he kind of sucked. I think he was a bust. So, yeah, there's that. Garrett, there's a custom recruit. He wants to come. That's good. That's good. So, a lot of players are first. How about second? I don't care about these 2 stars. So how can a 4-star be second, McNeil, but not want to come? Like, way to be smart, dummy. Ay. Smarty pants. Did I say a 5-star was third? Or no, that's Savage. I'm dumb. I'm really dumb. Hey, look, it's Tyus Cummings' younger white brother. And Calvin Richardson has a black brother. Life is weird. Now it is time to scout. I went after a number of really good players and players who were also interested in us. Starting with Dante Savage, a player we've been looking at since his sophomore year, and he's the number 2 player in the country. He goes down to an 83, but is still a really good player. Ryan Rogers, I'm not going to say we need a tight end, but Sandu Fishing isn't spectacular, and he is a bust. Nice start. Noah Newton, a 5-star. I sort of liked his skill set, even though receiver isn't a huge need. He goes down 1. 76 catching, but I like the spec catch, and he is Canadian. Andy Pino, he is an athlete, stays in an 80. Looks like he would probably be a corner. Patrick Daly, he goes down to a 79 really fast. He might play defensive back as well, maybe running back. Malik Brown, a wide receiver, he goes up to an 81. So we can decide between him or Newton, or get both. Ronald Young, he goes up to a 76, so it looks like he's not terrible. He is the guy who was second for us. Alright. John Murphy, a tackle. He goes up 3. As you can see, we're looking at offensive linemen, potentially trying to find a gem. That isn't a gem. That's a bust. Eric Brooks. Marquise Bolton, a player we were looking at last year during the recruiting special. He goes down to a 75. Solid player, however. Ray Johnson goes up 2 to a 76. Demetrius Stevens up to a 78. Garrett Racine goes up 4. Teddy White, an athlete, he goes up to an 80. He has 94 man coverage. Okay. David Riley goes down to a 78. He has 15 man coverage, so quite the difference. Joe Brunner. He is a gem, 79. He goes up 10. Ira Pruitt goes up 4. Chris Parker. He is a gem as well, 77. Josh Sims. He is also a gem, 78. And I have Zach Foster here, but I want to scout one of these offensive linemen. I guess we'll do Colton Rasmussen. I'm going to scout him instead of Foster because I want to keep the gem streak going. Oh, would y'all look at that? He goes up to a 79. We'll scout you next week, Zach. Boom, we found like 17 gems. And a couple busts, too. That's nice. Now, head coach Mason Conway has level 20 insta-commit. Or not level 20, but 20% insta-commit, I should say. So, we will be offering scholarships to anyone who is in first for us and see if they commit. Starting with the bust, Ryan Rogers. No. Don't think any of these guys were first. Who here was first? Eric Brooks, another bust. Nope. Ray Johnson, he's actually kind of a good player, and he doesn't commit. Garrett Racine, doesn't commit. Custom recruit. Bad luck, I guess. Alright, who is the next one? It is Scott Newman. No. Nate Nelson? Welcome to the team, Nate. 60 overall. I've not even scouted you at all. Ricky Berry. Don't know if he's related to Rick Berry. Nope. Kenny Young? Nope. Craig Hughes? Nope. Anyone else? John Holland, 4-star? Welcome to the team, John. So that's 2 players now. Steve Alvarez? Welcome to the team, Steve. So now that's 3. And we have one more, Jason Morris. And no. How I was able to tell was I sort of heard a sound after I gave him a scholarship. I heard the sound, that meant no. If I didn't, that meant yes. I didn't hear the sound from Nate, John, or Steve. So we got a 4-star and two 3-stars, so that's actually not too bad. Since week 1 is a bye week, I get 2 weeks to sort of start my thinking process when it comes to recruiting, since I'm going to be simulating all the way up to opening game against the Buckeyes, which is next week. So this is how we are allocating our points to start things off. We can offer 700, but I want to offer as much points to as many people. So the max we're doing right now is 600, but that'll probably move up to 700 within the next week or 2. So as you can see, we got Dante Savage on the top, and it looks like we're mainly going after a lot of the offensive and defensive linemen, as well as the tight end, outside linebacker, athlete, and wide receiver. So that is the plan as of right now. We got some guys below as well who we would like to get too, so we can't rule these guys out either, but a lot of them are interested in us, so it's going to be easier to get them later than some of the super talented guys who aren't as interested. Let's take a look at the preseason polls. This will actually tell us what our overall rating is. I don't know it, and I'm pretty curious. So as you can see, the Florida Gators, the reigning national champions, are the #1 team in the country. Stanford at 3, Ohio State at 5. We'll be playing those 2 teams pretty soon. And your Westlake Hornets are at 23 with a 91 overall team, with a 91 offense and a 92 defense. So we improve in 5 overall points on all 3 of those skills, as we were an 86 overall with 86 offense, 87 defense. So Westlake is now in the 90s. And if you see any of your teams, good for you. But who is dead last? It is ULM. Good for them. Now taking a look at the conference outlook, they have Arizona winning the Pac-12 South, with us coming in second. I'm offended. I'm quite honestly offended. Meanwhile, in the North, it is Stanford, followed by Oregon and Washington in the top 3. So, there you go. Let's take a look at the Heisman watch. Will we see Alex Ellis? Well, considering that says Alex and that says Ellis, chances are he is actually number 2. So, at least he's on the list. I'm not mad. He's behind Tony Jones, a redshirt junior from Baylor. Interesting. Andrew Pettit, Johnny Thorne, and Joel Joseph are on the list. No Champ Britton, which is interesting. Preseason All-Americans. We should see plenty of our players. And on the All-NCAA first team, Champ Britton, Alex Ellis, Brock Rivero, QJ Casimir, Chip Barron, Quentin Campbell, Jeremy Harrington. On the second team, Everett Lemieux. That's interesting. Anyone else? Is that it? No, we got Wesley McNamara as well. And then on the All Pac-12 team, Champ Britton, Alex Ellis, Everett Lemieux, Brock Rivera, TJ Casimir, Chip Barron, Agobo Anecho, Quentin Campbell, Jeremy Harrington, Leon Moore. And on the second team, we got Michael Wilson, Wesley McNamara, and Sebastian Jackson as the returner. Toughest places to play. How high are we? I think we're somewhat high. We are at 21 with only 22,500 people attending. That's a sold-out stadium. Our stadium's kind of small. 22-10, all time at home, not bad, with a 5-home winning streak. Our last home loss was opening day last year against Texas, which we should not have lost that game. And then championship contenders. For this year, we are 23, but then the next 3 years it gets funky. 9, 7, and 3. Very nice. We have a very young team. Most of our starters are sophomores and juniors, so I guess that's good. And then we have a really good freshman class coming in as well. So I think we're ready to simulate to the next week. Headed into our game against Ohio State at A&T Stadium. Or AT&T Stadium. Why did I just say A&T? Anyway, we have moved up a rank to number 22. Kirk is a little snack, so he's going with the Buckeyes. But that'll end the video for me speaking. The next couple minutes will be your custom recruits being shown. So yeah, I hope you like your prospect.
Hey, man!